A lot of money for tarot card, or?
Yeah, in 3 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah. Other people at the court center, like what's her name? Veronica Maz.
Hello.
She made. Wait, that's not her last name anymore, right?
I'm not sure.
She made, I think it was 150,000 selling flowers.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. So. So.
Congratulations. It seems like it's very successful.
Yeah. I think the next 3 months are going to be very interesting. Hope it reinvigorates the court center, or like a civilian life, I should say. So, the next 3 months. I just got done speaking with Peters about like an hour ago, I want to say, plus or minus.
How was that?
I cannot ever tell.
Hello. Yes.
He was either listening or he wasn't listening. He may have said yes and meant it, or he may have said yes and is crashing out.
Crashing out about what?
That's normally how it goes. I feel. Well, I'll tell you what I told him is, there's a couple things that I'm gonna be very hands-on about the next 3 months. Number one, and I think it's in the realm of progress in the LSPD. Specifically,
Who's this?
agreeing to milestones of some kind, loose, and getting sort of like a progress report that would not just be for the cabinet, but for the public. This is going to be in the realm of training. It is also going to be in the realm of public satisfaction, let's call it. Now, I want to be very clear here that when I say public satisfaction, it is neither going to be something like, how was your experience with the LSPD at your Fleeca bank? Or it wouldn't be tailored in a way where, you know, it would benefit, let's just say, criminals from general public satisfaction, right? Questions. This is going to be through surveys. So the point here being that obviously we had that discussion yesterday, right? And you mentioned there's some, let's just say, things in the works, and certain things have been solved. And I don't want to dive into that too much because I understand the context you were talking to me about. You with me so far? Yeah. Yes. So,
Hello. You better have a damn good explanation for your actions.
With obviously what happened over the weekend, pretty bad.
I agree.
I was kind of pissed at Peters, though. And unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to continue that conversation, but it didn't really resonate with me well when what happened to Ming. I think you actually stepped away when he said this, but he made the comment, and I don't want this turning into like a fuck Peters thing, right? But this is just highlighting a specific overall concern. What did he say? I don't know why Ming is crying anyways. He shoots cops after he was unjustly shot down. And then secondly, officers telling me that they're pushing charges because they are pressured to do so, as opposed to them pressing them because they have a good faith belief that those are the right set of charges.
Did they specify who they felt pressured by?
That is a conversation that I think should be had in confidence with Romello. But I will say that Romello's situation, because he was, and I want to be, he was afraid to open up when I asked him. I let him know that I'm not going to go smear his name around. And I hope you recognize that if not handled correctly, Romello could get shit for it. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, he shouldn't, you know, if Romello is, as they say, following orders, right? And somebody else told him to do something and they made the bad call. That's on who told him. If like a higher up told him, that's on the higher up, in my opinion. Because we do kind of drill into people, like, unless it's a blatant crime, follow the orders of your command. You know, command will take the heat if it's the wrong call.
I think there has been a decent amount of that. I think Romello's situation may not be unique. But rather, if I understood Romello correctly, it's not even necessarily you must push this, but rather this is what the charges should be. You got this. So in other words, the pressure is if it coming from a sense of if you're not able to push these charges and validate them in court, you are not doing your job right. Like
like he should be able to articulate it.
Yeah. Even though he doesn't believe it to be the case. Right?
But see, that's the thing, is that I feel like a bit of a broken record, but I tell people, if you can't articulate something, just don't push the charge. Like, I don't think anybody cares, you know? Like, would rather somebody not push a charge because they don't feel like they have the evidence or they can't explain the situation than push something that they know is they're gonna lose in court, or just simply that they know isn't the right charge because they can't explain it. Why would you push a charge you can't explain?
And I think that comes the difficulty, right? Is that messaging being percolated through the ranks?
It should be. I mean, I feel like I have, like I said, been a broken record with command about it. So with everybody about it. But maybe I haven't been vocal enough lately about it. I know I was for a long time.
Yeah.
Probably goes into the I need to be more around to start reinforcing that again, I guess.
I think the PD needs you to be around a lot more there, Moss. I think things have regressed very much so. I do think that the PD is happier, and you can see that in the room. But in terms of law enforcement, I think it's very evident to everybody that there's such a severe regression. And
when do you think this regression started?
I'm going to chalk it up as holidays. Holidays occurred. Everybody, including myself, is taking time off. And hogging out became the cool thing to do.
Hey, dude. You keep missing each other.
I mean, I'll keep it a buck. I can only be around during shift 2 during the week. I can adjust my stuff that I can be around consistently every day during shift 2, but you need somebody around during shift 1, and I can't be around during shift
And I think that's
To be
kind of where
honest,
the
that's when I think a lot of things happen.
it's become the shift 1 has become the old shift 2.
You know, I think we made do with it for a long time because Peters was around consistently.
I have to
shift
take
1.
this. This is anonymous. Keep your eyes open just in case. Nino.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey. Having a chat with the chief right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Look, I'd like to have a talk sometime in the very near future, late tonight if available. Just wanted to touch base. We were supposed to talk with each other.
Okay. Is it urgent or?
I mean, the faster we do it, the more sense it makes. I'm having an idea for an event, but it's an event in your honor.
That is the sussiest thing that you could tell me. After
Listen. You're the first ever 3-time mayor. That should be celebrated. Okay, so I'm trying to plan an event in your honor for being the first 3-time.
What's actually going on?
That's actually what I'm. Why is there got to be ulterior motives here? You know, you used to never question my motives.
Because that's the most random fucking shit.
Listen. I want to set up a parade. Not only that, but I want to have musical artists, all this kind of shit. A big parade right in the center of Legion Square, right?
Why
and then
would you
cap
of all
it
people?
off.
Why
Listen,
would
cap
you of
it
all
off.
people be setting that up?
Because I mean, obviously, look. Just picture this, all right? Picture this. A parade in your honor for the first ever 3-time. Musical acts, food trucks, the whole shebang. Middle of Legion Square, everybody's partying and celebrating. We cap it all off with a race from the city line that starts at Los Santos all the way back around 3 laps to honor the 3-time, right? And the winner gets the first ever Nino Cup, all right? Not only that, but a cash prize as well.
Okay, give me a call tomorrow and we'll talk about it. How does that
Jesus
sound?
fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Whatever. You sussed out. I get it.
No, I mean we could talk about. I just became mayor again. I'm in fucking meetings.
Hey, dude.
Talk about the next 3 terms. Like either that or tell me what's actually happening. I'm not fucking. You don't forget who fucking raised you. All right, I never got done with my lessons.
Look. First of all, look. Obviously, there would be government subsidies to come out of this, but I want to host an event in your honor, of course.
Oh my fucking god.
Whatever. We'll talk tomorrow.
Okay. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, later.
All right. Bye.
All right, see you later, 3-time. Congrats.
All right. I appreciate it.
All right, later.
Take care. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, but what I was saying was, you know, I think we managed because Peters was shift 1.
Hey, boo. What's up?
You know, Maxwell was around, and Eric. But obviously that's not working anymore.
Yeah. I think,
Yeah, I guess it's time you find a new chief.
wait, I thought you said you can do shit. Wait, what? Wait.
I mean, you need somebody during shift 1. I can't be around during shift 1.
You can't put someone in shift 1.
I mean, there's already 3 people in shift 1, and this shit's still happening.
Oh, well.
Am I missing something?
Hey, stud. How you doing?
Hello?
Why do you think it's
Yeah.
happening?
They oiled my whole body for the shoot.
Amazing. Sure.
I think that part of the issues that are happening today are you kind of have to go back to when all the BCSO and LSPD shit was happening, right? There was a moment when I don't remember the situation. Peter said BCSO cannot discipline LSPD anymore. We ended up pushing that through to applying to both departments. And the idea behind it was that if something happens, they would send us a report, we would send them a report, then we would deal with it ourselves, right? That shit just did not work. It didn't work. There was nobody being held accountable. People were, if something happened with an LSPD, sure, we would deal with it. But there were so many times that something happened with BCSO and literally just nothing happened. And I think it, created animosity. It was something that, I tried to take a step back on and say, you know what, this isn't working. Let's go back to being able to just handle situations right here and now, because things aren't getting handled, It was, I don't know if you heard about it, it was at the point where Peters was threatening to take people's keys because people just straight up weren't listening to him. I think that will be resolved, honestly, in the direction that the PD is going. I'm still pushing for it, and I do believe that we will get there, because I think we need to be able to deal with situations a lot faster. And at the end of the day, even though they are not my department, they operate within my county, and I'm responsible for them. As much as they would not like to admit it, I'm responsible for their actions. So I think that's part of it, is the fact that just people aren't being held accountable right now. That's pretty much all I've been focusing on, is trying to fix this for the last 2 weeks, which I think we actually got to a very good spot on moving forward with it.
Hey, what's up?
But obviously that's going to still take a little bit of time to really kind of get things to where they need to be. It's, I think within LSPD, it's a tough thing, right? Politics, command, He talked a little bit about it. Peter doesn't like Ruby. Peter does not like her. He makes it very obvious.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah.
Maxwell doesn't like Ruby either. So I'm here kind of juggling everything, right? Because I don't really give a shit who people like or dislike. I care, can you do the job, and can you do it effectively? And are you acting as a leader for the officers? Do you inspire officers to come on duty? Do you make it enjoyable? Do you teach them? Do you help them be better officers? That's what I care about. I couldn't care less if people like or dislike people. But it makes for a complicated situation with command, right? Because I got 2 lieutenants that don't like each other. One of my captains feels alienated by a lieutenant. I have a lieutenant that feels alienated by the undersheriff or the assistant chief. And then I just got Trig, who's perfect.
He's certainly, he was perfect. And then he got a tumor.
I don't want to talk about that. So I'm trying to kind of, in a way, constantly keep the peace, because everybody on their own is vital, in my opinion. They all are necessary to the PD functioning and functioning well. And so I just have to sit there and make sure that essentially everybody has what they need.
I can understand that. I think I do want to sort of renege on my position earlier. is that I don't think that the issues are necessarily strictly a shift 1 issue. Because I think
No,
there's certain...
I don't think it's just shift 1. I think it's
Yeah.
all shifts. Shift 3 is low numbers,
Hey, bro.
low
Yeah.
morale. Shift 2, I think is doing a lot better. I think it's miles ahead than it was a few months ago, but it's still...
Let me ask a question about shift 2. How are you averaging on shift 2 LSPD offices?
What I see consistently, and I kind of hop around in shift 2. Sometimes I'm early shift 2, sometimes I'm late shift 2. Late shift 2, there's probably anywhere from 5 to 10,
Hey, man. What's up?
which is fairly good for late shift 2. Early shift 2, we get a lot of people that bleed in from shift 1, so it's a little bit harder to average, but I would say anywhere between, it could be as low as 10, it could be as high as 20, 25. It just kind of depends on the bleed over.
Huh.
Hi. How you doing, darling?
Interesting. When did do you know when the Hydra situation and the Ming situation happened? Was that shift 1, shift 2? Was it the transitionary period?
I can find out.
Yeah. I think that'd be good for context, because from where I'm sitting, shift 1 and 2, I think, from an outside perspective, right? It looks like one pane of glass, right?
It looks like it happened a couple hours after shift 2 started, if I'm reading this correctly. At least that's when the report was made. So probably sometime in the beginning of shift 2. Well, hold on. Yeah. Why is there only one officer listed on this report? Yeah. It looks like a couple hours after shift 2.
Hello?
You know, I think
Yes.
Hey, sugar lips.
looking at this Ming situation,
That sounds good, but
I will keep it a buck.
what you wearing?
I feel like I fucking say that too much now. I need to find a new catchphrase.
Hello? Can I get the role?
I think that there are
But there is a good chance.
some officers, some deputies that have a, unfortunately, there's no other way to put it, aggressive nature with police work. And they're looking to arrest you, and they are going to find a way to arrest you. And right now, I think what we are doing is we are looking at all officer conduct, and we really need to be looking at that. And are people arresting for the sake of arresting, or are they arresting because somebody legitimately committed a crime?
That's when I talk in public safety, that's a big part of it right there. Because I feel like that's all I hear, and there's been a serious rise in that since right after the holidays. During the holidays, things were like tame, I would say, right?
Now, I would ask, and I don't take this as me blaming. It's just simply trying to see full context.
Yeah.
And this is something I'd have to look into. has there been an uptick in particular crimes or violent crimes that is potentially
Hello.
causing a reaction from the police force? I haven't particularly noticed anything, but maybe I'm not seeing everything.
There has been more gang activity in shift 1. Well, yeah, there's been the terrorism last week, right? From an outside perspective and what I've been pointed at, it's very, how do I put this? A crime occurs and it's catch by any means necessary. Charge people, suck my dick, you're going to prison. You know? And it seems like a lot of that is, I mean, even look at Flop's case. Oof. I don't know if you read the transcripts.
They're, hold on.
Hi, Mom.
I was briefed on it by Sky. She seemed to have everything that she needed. Are you talking about mainly it being circumstantial evidence?
I think it may be worth having a conversation with either Flop Dugang or with, well, once you catch him, McQuillan.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't trust a fucking word McQuillan says.
While that may be fair, there is the art of talking to both separately and seeing where things relate. But, you know, I want to paint with a very broad brush here, right? Is fuck Ming, he shouldn't be crying. He shoots cops.
No,
the phone call in which
How you doing, darling?
I don't agree with that. You know,
well,
I'm gonna be
let me
honest.
let me just iterate
on.
through this. What do you call it? I don't give a fuck what happened to Kit. She's just a terrorist. I don't know why they're causing a problem. They're the ones who, cops shot them all down because they were mad that they had to break off of a call. Like, it's just that those statements being made to victims are not cop statements. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree. I completely agree.
It's and there's just like a laundry list of that. So when, like, you know, the reason I want to keep it at more of a broad brush here is each one, there's probably quite a few of these specific incidents, but for me, it becomes data points, right? I get more of these kind of calls. It's a pattern, and obviously only a certain percentage is going to get reported up to me, right? Or like keyed back to me. So if it's happened 3-4 times, then it's probably happened 12, right? I will say there's that, right? And I'm glad it's being looked into, and I think, you know, hopefully as time goes on, that situation gets nipped in the bud. But then there's the training, right?
What I told, so I spoke with Stevie and Eric about all of these situations this morning, and they both reiterated that they had, you know, agreed on policies moving forward and how to deal with everything. You know, and I said, that's nice, But has anybody reached out to the people that were affected by this? Have you taken that step? Because we can have conversations all we want and stand in a circle all we want, but those people are never going to know, you know? So for them, just nothing happened.
Precisely.
So they said that's the next step. We'll be reaching out to people.
Okay. There's then the training.
God, don't get me started on training. Fucking nightmare.
Well, talk to me. What's going on? Help me understand. I asked Peters before you arrived, how's On Fire's training going? And it didn't sound like it was really going.
No. I mean, On Fire has been a sergeant for a few months.
Oh shit, it's been that long?
I haven't seen a ton of sergeant work from her. As far as, you know, dealing with situations, assisting Ruby. I've asked Ruby to, you know, make sure that she is
Hey, boo.
equipped and doing what she needs. She's a new command member.
On my way to meet my manager.
I need to speak with Ruby about that and see where she's at with that and with Bradford. But from what I can tell, I don't. Well, I actually take that back because I had Sky speak to Ruby, and Ruby said that I think she was okay for support in Shift 2. But overall training, you know, we sat down, High Command, we came up with modules for training. We were urging people to assist with it because I didn't want it to fall strictly on High Command to do all these modules and do all these training sessions with people. I wanted people to step up and say, I'm really good at subpoenas. I'm going to lead the subpoena module.
Hello? Yeah.
Or, you know, I have a really good understanding of RS versus PC or whatever the module was. And we wanted to kind of give people opportunities to take more of to have more of a hands-on approach within the PD.
You guys are being weird.
And it was just like crickets. Nobody, I think it goes back to just training in general, FTO training, cadet training.
So nobody, when was this?
Nobody wants to train. This was a few months ago that we had all this planned out. We had created the modules for it and we couldn't get people. And I mean, we can do it as high command members.
Why wasn't that the option then?
I mean, I think that's something that High Command unfortunately will just have to do. I didn't want it to be High Command because High Command already has a lot on their plate. I wanted to give people who maybe were in lower command positions, seniors, or just even officers that have expertise, step up, and nobody stepped up.
I would make the argument that
Hey, stud. How you doing, honey?
if people didn't step up, I hope to God they're nothing more than like a senior officer.
Hello? Who's this?
Because if they were not willing to train the future of the LSPD, what the fuck value are they?
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, we talked about Maxwell.
Hey, man.
And I know you specifically said Maxwell, but I bring Ruby into this as well. They're lieutenants, and they are the only ones that are consistently taking out cadets.
That's been
and I think you're right that I just need to tell them, force the seniors and sergeants to take out cadets because this is ridiculous at this point.
People understandably become law enforcement officers and come on duty to chase adrenaline. And I think
Get it. Taking
that's
your cadets is fun.
that's awesome. But if they want to come around to do that, they can also fucking train or they can get the fuck out. I'm sure Blaine County's hiring. Because at the end of the day, it's you that has been suffering. It's Peter's that's suffering. And, well, I mean, just quite frankly, Maxwell. I don't know how the fuck she holds shift 1 on her shoulders the way that she does. She's apparently yet to be approached.
I think she is like a good amount of support from Viv and Stevie.
No, she doesn't.
You don't think she does? Well,
Trig is only just started showing up, right? Stevie had a little bit of time off as well. There's different kinds of support, right? Being present is not the culmination of things. I think support starts with communication and recognizing what someone is dealing with. And, you know, this is not to say that, you know, neither Trig or Stevie aren't good. I'm sure they're great. But it's not the support she needs, because if it was
what about
support...
Viv?
Oh,
Viv, not Trig.
Viv, 1,000%.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't say Trig, I said Viv.
Oh, yeah. Viv and Maxwell complement each other. Yeah.
Hi. How you doing, darling?
I think Viv's been, if Viv and or Maxwell are not around in shift 1, it's a fucking shit show. Every time. And it's resonated through the city. Like, gonna be standing on the side of Senior Buns, and depending on what's happening in the day, you can tell if they're around or not.
Do you think so Vivian and Haley, I am happy. Haley is, I think, very much found her voice. You know, she's found her voice as a lieutenant, which is fantastic. Do you think it is simply that people need that kind of voice, or do you think it is a product of not enabling officers to be able to operate without them?
I will tell you what she has told me. Obviously, I've grown a lot closer to her as a consequence of her being 90% of the time the highest ranking officer available in shift 1. So when I need LSPD, she's the highest ranking. Having over the last like 3 months, she's been a lot more open with me. I've also seen that, like you said, is always the one training people. She's told me that no one else wants to train. The other big challenge that she's facing, and I spoke to her about this today or yesterday, is she feels like she's disconnected and unwelcome from the rest of command. Now, I did bring this up with her, that, and I'll use this as an example, right? There's obviously a big communication problem with the LSPD, right? I think we've discussed this before. And I think what can happen is there may be decisions that are being made, but then she doesn't hear about them, and it's like the switch flips and there's no context. The most recent example being, there was like, you know, they were empowered to hire and fire individuals, and there was an operating order of like, you can go hire and fire as you need if da happens. But then apparently, seemingly randomly, and I'm not saying it's random, but from her perception, right, as weeks go by, all of a sudden they're no longer allowed to hire and fire. And it's now gotten to the point where it's like, I don't think she feels enabled to run her shift. I think there's a separate concern where...
I think I know what this is about.
Yep. Just to finish, there is a separate concern that the officers that she is responsible for are being suspended or whatever without her notice or without her consultation, right? So,
So, as far as the hiring and firing thing goes, nothing has changed with hiring. It has been pretty much the same since I started. I have basically enabled the shifts to be able to select to interview people. The only thing I ask is they send me kind of the final list just to double check everything, make sure it's okay, and then I sign off on it. I think maybe only 1 or 2 out of the entire 5 months have I said, I don't think this is a good fit. And that's for various reasons. The firing thing, I'll keep it a buck. I hate that I keep saying that.
I was going to call you out.
They were never allowed to fire. I don't know why they think that they could fire people. Firing is high command. It is not command.
She may have meant suspension as well.
No, they've always been enabled to suspend. Always. That has never been a question. That has never been off the table. They are more than welcome to suspend somebody. Firing people, but see that here's why I bring that up. They did fire somebody without speaking to high command. It ended up being a PPO, and I adjusted my kind of stance on that, and I said, all right, PPO and below, so PPOs and cadets, I will let command be able to make that decision because they are probationary. Officer plus, that has to go through high command.
Is it... So let me ask you something, Moss, right? I understand that somehow communication was missed, right? But the buck does stop with you, right? And I hope that the reaction to that is less, why the hell don't they know? And more, maybe there needs to be another mechanism for communication, right? Because my understanding was that
I think I need to reiterate that to them.
Are these things written down?
It is written down, and I went and I looked at the SOPs just to double check.
God damn it!
Command lieutenants, they can hire, they cannot fire. Firing is only listed under high command.
Do y'all have like all hands command meetings regularly?
Yes. Well, not. We need to probably have them more, but we do have.
That's what it sounds like.
Fairly regularly. I mean, I know you fucking hate the BCSO.
Wait,
but
I don't. Wait, give me a sec. Oh, it's just someone selling moonshine. All right.
Right.
I heard the door slam, so. I don't.
But.
Please look. What do you mean? I hate the BCSO. Well, you don't have any problems with them, like?
No, I mean I can't stand them. But I will say, the command meeting that happened yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, in regards to all the shit that happened on Saturday. It was joint between BCSO and LSPD, and it was great. It was great to see them all working together to figure out a solution, being really proactive. It was frankly nice to see for once.
Hey, dude. Yo, check Get out. I want to start a band.
Kumbaya is all great, but like, you know, I you know, hope see how it turns into action. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole accountability part of it, right?
Yeah.
There was a second part. It was the hiring, firing, and what was the second part that you brought up?
We said training. Oh, you mean in regards to Maxwell?
Yeah.
She's very clearly overwhelmed. I recommended she needs to grow someone up, right? To pass on that PNT lead. Because without that, her ability to grow, and I'm not talking about rank, forget rank, right? Her ability, I don't know how you could reasonably be managing an entire shift while also being the only person doing PNT. It's impossible. It's, you know, you just can't.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
I'll ask her.
But
You
I
know
do think
who takes out cadets and I think has a passion for it is D-Link. He still has a lot of growing to do, and I think he has a long ways to go. But he may be a good person to try to nurture and invest time into, because he's investing his time into this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good news, I'm pregnant
Okay.
again.
Um,
Oh, it'll be fine. The tax credit alone pays for the first 3 months of diapers.
how about you and
I
Peters? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And I've narrowed the dad
I
down
think
to 2
Maxwell,
Hey, man.
she's so good and she cares so much about her shift, and I love that. But I also think Maxwell is emotionally invested in her shift to the point where she sometimes refuses to see the fault of her officers
So what if he was
because
making a little money on the
she
side?
wants to
I
see
mean,
them
a little bit of
succeed.
making's neat. Oh, hey, buddy.
And I don't blame her for that.
Nah,
You
man,
know, you
I don't
always
mean
want to
that.
see people
Don't put
succeed
words
that
in my mouth,
you put time and effort into. But I think that causes her to have an extremely tight grip on the shift to the point where she doesn't delegate and she takes it on herself. And I wish that she would trust Stevie a little bit more. You know, I wish that she would push more onto Vivian and Stevie and let them kind of really act as sergeants, and that she manages the sergeants. And I think that's just a
Did
conversation that I need to have, and a conversation I have had with her, frankly, but a conversation I need to have with her again.
I think I mean, someone needs to have it with her, if not you, right? And
Hold on a sec.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. Bye-bye.
Can I challenge that assertion?
Mm-hmm.
You say that about Maxwell, but you have Ruby's husband and Sky who share the exact same traits
Ruby's husband got fired.
after 2 months.
I know.
And both you and Peters have a lawsuit against you, and they're not named.
That was a joke. I just want to make it clear if anyone's listening.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
American citizen, all right?
So I think that, and Maxwell also fired her pretty much a best friend.
No, you're right. She did. She did.
So is that really fair to say?
And maybe it's something that she's gotten better about, you know. I know the Alana thing, that had to be extremely hard on her. And and I'm glad that she was able to do that and look past, you know, her relationship with her and whatnot. So that's good. It's just things that I had seen in the past, you know.
It's all look, but don't touch
Yeah.
now and shit, but
But
It's,
I do think that Maxwell is very similar to Peters and that they don't delegate.
Peters, I agree with. Maxwell, I demonstratedly hyper disagree with. The times I've been in the back of the cruiser, she is delegating like a boss.
Be careful around those college.
95's evidence, etc., etc. Is she the best? Probably not.
I'm not talking about scene delegation.
Oh, you mean responsibility?
I'm talking about responsibility. I'm talking about when there are issues within the police department and complaints against officers, things that she does not need to be handling. That's what I'm talking about. I know Maxwell has no problem leading and delegating on a scene. She's fantastic at that.
Me more like administratively.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I need the administrative side, the side that actually is exhausting and can burn you out. That is what I need her to be delegating. And that's what I mean by delegating to her sergeants and managing her sergeants.
How does... I'm curious why, what is the holdup on that? It's, I don't have an answer, right?
I think it's a trust thing. At least for Peters it is. You know, Peters knows that he can do it, so he just does it, right? And it is like prying it out of his hands, trying to get him to pass things on to other people. It's a nightmare. You know, and I imagine Maxwell is similar in the fact that she's so good and she can absolutely do it herself, but she just doesn't need to.
About a job and the drugs, of course.
Did she, was it her choice? I remember pointing at, like, Trig and Stevie as good for Shift 1 command. We talked about this, like, I think it's been like 2 months now.
I gave her the choice to pick her sergeant. I think I suggested a couple people, but ultimately it was her choice.
And she picked Stevie?
Fuck.
Yes.
I love America, red, white, and blue.
Yeah, that's what I was going at, is like, I was wondering if there's like distrust because of that, and that's
I wanted to
even more
let her
concerning.
make that decision for herself. I didn't want to put somebody in there. And the same goes with Ruby. If Ruby wanted different command members, I told Sky to tell her to look at her command and see, is it working? If it's not working, let's put in different command. It's their shift. I want them to feel ownership of it.
Oof. It sounds like, I don't know. Let's zoom back out a little bit as to, you know, where we kind of started this conversation.
You said something about approach, but I cut you off.
Approach. Ooh, I don't remember. What was it? What was the subject?
It's about Maxwell.
I may have been that I think she needs to be approached and have her. Sorry, 1 second. Hey, Maeve, can I call you back?
Do you know how long you'll be?
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit. Why? Is something emergency?
No, I'm going to bed soon, so.
Oh, yeah. Let me chat with you in a bit.
Okay. All right.
All right. Bye. I think in a very honest conversation, I'm just gonna be transparent, right? There are some issues there. Maxwell has a level of pride where she doesn't, for some reason, and I tried to break her out of this, is that I was like, you need to bring these problems up, like these grievances, whatever they are, and they're valid grievances, but there is like this barrier of like, well, I don't want to feel like I'm like groveling for help, you know?
Not groveling. If she needs help, we need to get her help. There's nothing wrong with that.
But equally, and I see it firsthand, is that there also isn't a culture where people are being pulled aside, Maxwell included, to be like, what do we need to do to help you succeed? And then listen to what those things are and make sure that they're done. It's like the plug has to be connected on, like, the both sides need to come and close the gap, right?
Yeah.
And
I think,
Tomorrow is your
you know,
day.
up until probably, I would say like a month or so ago around the holidays,
Hang out tomorrow.
you know, I would get on duty. The first thing I would do is I would call Maxwell. Almost every single day. Check in with her, see if there's anything she needs help with. And I haven't been really waking up until into shift 2.
Yeah.
When she's already gone off duty. So I think I would need to make more of an effort to try to regain that connection of checking in with her every day.
How about 9?
why hasn't Trig done that?
I don't know. It's something that I should probably delegate to him.
For sure.
You know that
Trig.
Trig.
I don't know why he isn't doing that, to be honest. Look,
I
will
like
be
Trig.
honest about Trig.
Yeah.
Trig is there to kind of manage me and Peters. That is why Trig is in high command.
I figured. Because when I have sought his and Stevie's help, they're fucking around more than I've seen Peters fuck around lately. I have no problem with
I'll
fucking
talk
around.
to him about that because
Well,
if,
I don't want this to turn into like I want to be very clear here. I'm not trying to take their fun away, but that's your high command.
No, he needs to be supporting Maxwell, 100%. So I need to have a conversation with him, and get him on track with that. The first and foremost, support Maxwell, and Maxwell's fine.
What the hell happened to him?
What do you mean?
When I first brought it, do you remember when I brought up Trig originally? It was because, number one, it was like Peters was on vacation, but also...
What? Making him ass chief?
Yeah, remember that? You know, we talked about
and
all
I
that?
approached him about it, and he
No, sorry. What I'm saying is, when I approached you, like, he was very healthy. But then this tumor happened.
I mean, the tumor could have always been there.
Yeah, but how?
How does any cancer start?
What, is that what it is?
Regular cells. Isn't that what a tumor? Well, it's benign. It's not cancer. It's benign. But isn't it just an irregular mass of cells? It's just honestly bad luck.
The reason I bring that up, right, is that goes hand in hand, right? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but the hope there was Trig isn't around as much, understandably, right? He's got other things happening in his life, Azeroth and otherwise, and
Peters isn't around as much.
I'm sorry?
You mean Peters isn't around
Peters.
as much?
Oh, did I say Trig?
Yeah.
Oh, I meant Peters, yeah. And I think when we spoke about this like weeks ago, the hope was that Trig would sort of fill that gap. And that's kind of why I bring it up. And I'm even curious if he's aware, right? And
there was about a month where Peters and Trig both weren't around.
that is true.
And I really tried to be around as much as I could to deal with their absence, and I honestly think things were okay during that time.
They were 100%.
For tomorrow for the St. Petersburg.
And
Okay, I'll be by to pick up my laundry.
then Trig came back.
Mm.
And I think Trig was back for a few weeks, and then Peters came back. And, you know, Peters does tend to crash out about little things. So some of the times when he's freaking out about something, I'm kind of like, is he just freaking out or is something?
I've been having that problem too. I'm going to be honest. Small things turn into huge things, and big things become whatever. I don't know how to read them sometimes. But Trig is a powerhouse when it comes to things like morale and protecting his offices, right? Which, quite frankly, is very necessary in Shift 1. It's, I think, also probably why Maxwell comes off a certain way, right? Keep in mind how much bullshit that they got to deal with, right? When it comes to BCSO, LSPD, hey, there's a shootout. Oh, look, someone before even looking to get medical for anyone has jumped on top of a 95 and is shipping them up to Blaine County to get their car upgrades.
That's why I'm trying to get shit sorted out with command, so that way they have more of an ability to deal with these situations. God, imagine, Nino, that somebody fucks up, doesn't matter what department they are, and you can just say, you fucked up, this is what you did, you need to go off duty for the rest of the day. How
that sounds
wonderful would
awful.
that be? What do you mean?
That is so cooked.
What do you mean it's cooked? It's what we need. We need to be able to fucking send people off duty. We literally cannot do that right now. It's insane.
No, you can't. I mean, it sounds wonderful, but it's so fantasy world, right? That would be in a world in which
I don't.
Yeah.
I think we'll get there.
That is so copium.
I don't think it is. This is what we have to get there. We have to get there for the betterment of the police department, because it is not working. We cannot hold people accountable the way that it is.
Sunday works for me. Morning would be ideal.
Because like I said, even though they're in different departments, I'm responsible for these people and their actions when they're operating in this county. I have to have some kind of authority over them.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, wasn't that a part of... Maybe I'm confused here, but align me. Isn't that what Peters tried to do at the jewelry store?
Yeah, but the fact is he doesn't have authority. So Ventura said, I don't remember, he told him to fuck off or suck a dick or something. And then Peters pulled his keys.
And then everyone ended up on bike duty.
Okay, you need to move past that.
I'm not going to use it as an example. Do you recognize that whole situation pretty much stripped Peters of all his authority?
What, that I put him on bike patrol?
That instead
the fact
of him...
that Ventura told him to fuck off.
No, that instead of him being able to maintain authority as the assistant chief of police in his county, and instead it turning into some SBS bike patrol shit, which I recognize you may have had your reasons, but from the grandest scope of things, his authority was entirely stripped from him in that very moment. It was undermined.
I frankly, I disagree with you. I don't think he was.
Yeah.
I don't think I undermined him. And I think that they were actually two separate situations. But as far as optics go, and then we've talked about it, and the political side of it, I do see how it looks that way.
Yeah.
And I have to keep that in mind.
It's what, because it wasn't just, well, in your mind, having the scope of why you made the decision to put Peters on bike patrol, right? That's not what everyone sees, right? What they see is Ventura got away. Because even Peters ended up on the bike.
I see what you said. I mean, I
Yeah.
said it, optics of it.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, what should have happened is Ventura should have just been suspended,
Oh, come on. Last night was off the hook.
or had some kind of disciplinary action from his own department. But they refused to do so. But I should not have given Peters bike patrol at the same time as Ventura.
Yeah.
I should have done something different.
It's very similar, and I'm glad you're not taking it the wrong way, right? This is just, I'm giving you my observation, right? It's sort of the same thing with the Carmine.
Hey, Leah, you got
I
my text?
actually, that whole thing was a shit show. I don't
got a modeling audition.
I don't know if he had leaks or whatever, but like that man walked in thinking he was getting fired the next day. I'm gonna assume that some of it was poor memes, let's call it. But the Carmine blotched up with the Frost situation also wasn't a good look. Right?
No, I know that. I think with that, I think we all jumped the gun a little bit on that. Peters came to me and said, Carmine's leaked. Carmine did all of these things. I want to fire him. And I said, okay.
Yeah, that's...
I didn't realize it was things had, like I said, it just the gun had been jumped a little bit on that one, unfortunately, and more needed to be done with it. It ended up all being, relatively fine. But I sometimes need to remember that I need to take a step back, because I do forget that people occasionally move very quickly on things.
Everything moves so fast. And I think even like throughout this entire conversation, I think the thing that is highlighted right now is it doesn't feel like there is that Maxwell is the effective highest member of Command and Shift 1. And at least presently, right? I'm looking at it in a 4-week timeline rather than what, like in the last week was Trig around, was in the last week Peter's around, you know what I mean? And it just, there's something kind of missing there. I'm not saying I got the answers, by the way, Moss, but it's, I
think you're right that at the end of the day, everyone in high command needs to do a better job of enabling command. That's the purpose of it. We support command so they can support everyone else. If we're not supporting command, how can we expect them to do their job properly?
Yeah.
It's like the cup full thing,
Was
Gotta fill up your own cup, or we need to fill up their cup.
It's gonna need to be a lot of hands-on, I think. You know what I mean? You, Trig.
I can't believe it. You don't even remember.
Just watching that vehicle.
You are an asshole.
There's a lot of red lights.
Yeah. You, Trig, Peters. A lot of hands-on. It's gonna have to be. You know what I mean? Like, at least get it to that next level. I don't know. It's I know you got things in the works, and you know, I don't know.
We're trying to get people on track to do the things that they need to do. The things that happened on Saturday just frankly cannot happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is
And taking 2 months to fire somebody.
yeah. Yeah.
I felt bad for Frost. And he's a piece of shit.
I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for him. I saw that fucking lawsuit. I'm Are there even labor laws? Are there any labor laws in this city?
No.
I could fire somebody because I just fucking don't like their attitude. Like,
Yeah.
I could wake up tomorrow and fire the entirety of the LSPD if I felt like it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do that. You'd probably fire me if I did that. But I could do that. That's within my powers to do so.
How are you?
My authority as
Den's not
chief
fired
of
yet.
police. Den is fired.
Someone's trying to break into my house?
Well, got anything valuable in there?
You want to go? Let's go. What the fuck?
Where's your house?
Go to Covenant. I'm gonna mark it.
Where you go?
What the fuck?
You got anybody has keys to your house?
No.
Radio check. Can I get a unit to Covenant Avenue? I'm with the mayor. He says somebody's trying to break into his house for 76. Oh, Denzel is fired.
Is he?
Yes, Denzel is fired.
Oh.
But I also don't think that we're ever going to see Denzel again, to be honest, so I don't think it really matters.
I can fly him back.
Nice, but
Wait, you want to see him again?
I like Denzel. But
I do
he'd have to go to prison. He'd have to wait the 30 days, get an expungement.
Yeah. Yeah, take a right.
Nobody is.
And then a right again. Right here.
On the left?
Yeah, right over here.
Nino, do I have permission to enter?
No. Hey, get back to work. Work on the fucking website. All right.
Nino, are you good?
Yep, I'm good. was interesting. Wait, is there blood on the ground?
Looks like some dirt.
Okay.
Everything okay?
I think so. I think here's what I'd like to do, because I think this is like a good conversation. I've been very hands off, I think, this last term. And I don't want to put a vice around the LSPD either. You know what I mean?
What do you mean by vice?
Well, a vice, like, you know, like... where I'm going with this is, I think we need to start meeting a lot more regularly and actually have... I want to go back to where this conversation...
every couple days.
We did.
I just haven't been around to meet with you.
That is true. I think simultaneously, vacation, right? But simultaneously, I think we met a lot more in the first term because we were dealing with fucking, like, super troopers trying to get everyone out of power. You know what I mean? Then they fucked around and found out. But...
yeah, they did.
You...
Have you heard anything about the marshals now? Like,
they're a million times better.
do you like them now? I saw you
yes.
talking to Oshira. She seems all right.
I wish I met her sooner. I'm gonna be honest. Here's where where my like summary is, right? Is I would like to meet more often. I want us to set goals and to revisit those goals, right? So we can kind of have an idea as to and show that we have a forward trajectory with the LSPD. And I don't want to set those goals today. I think I want you to kind of think about it. I want to think about it, talk to my cabinet as well, and we kind of list that stuff out. Now, I know you sent me, for example, the mission statement. I think that was like a good start, and I think we wanted to kind of cook from there, but we never really had that opportunity, right? Oh, yeah, we had the pred shit last term. That threw a fucking
Forgot
whole thing into the ringer.
But terrible. You know, speaking of Maxwell, there is one thing I did want to bring up.
Yeah.
You had approached me about promoting her. High command.
As a possible solution, yes.
During the last high command meeting, which was I think last weekend, I brought it up to everyone.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to get their opinion about it. I don't want this to sound harsh, but I think it's going to sound harsh.
Yeah.
It was very much a resounding no for every single member of High Command.
Let me, including Peters.
So what Peters said, I was surprised. I was surprised to hear about Peters.
Yeah.
I was honestly surprised at the reaction from everyone. I didn't expect there to be such strong feelings about it.
Huh.
What Peter said was, Maxwell's great, but Maxwell is a hothead. And you already have a hothead in high command. He was referring to himself.
Yeah, this is
And he felt like it would turn into a kind of, for lack of a better term, explosive or maybe even like volatile situation if we had two Peters in high command.
That is wild.
The other feedback I got was that people felt like she did not have the political side of the position yet, and I emphasize yet. That a lot of high command is dealing with, you know, politics. I still fuck up on it, you know. It's something that I think you do have to I've had to learn over time. You know, somebody like Eric, for instance, very good at that side of it. I think I'm slowly getting better at it. Peters is still not great at it. Sky, I think, is pretty good at it.
That's a yeah.
I think she has that skill.
I wanna
what I
sorry, go
said
ahead.
to them is, okay,
I'm not sure I
should we
really
give
care
her
about
feedback
someone with 5 cops in their shift.
and see if this is something that she can work on. These things that we've talked about. They all also said no, which I don't know that I necessarily agree with. But they felt like this is something that they didn't want to see her make changes that to try to fit into like manufactured, you know. They want to see these changes from her naturally, but my kind of mindset is, how do you expect change if you don't give feedback and allow people to make the decision themselves whether or not to change?
Yeah, right. And I think that's where our conversation was, right? Our conversation wasn't put Maxwell in that position, but she should be given a roadmap for how to get there. I'm gonna speak rather frankly.
So what? And that's something that I brought up, and they said, I think because they were all still kind of resounding no's, they said, don't bring it up to her because you don't want to give her false hope.
With all due respect, those are the most dog shit answers that could have been given. Those are not the words of leaders. Those are the words of people that, quite frankly, don't know what the fuck they're doing. And that's very disheartening. I
think she does. I think what I can
let me just finish my thought here. Is that leaders never, ever answer with a leader builds somebody up and shows them how to get there. Number one, a shift 3 high command member should have very little say in either shift 1 or shift 2 when there's been only 5 fucking cops in that shift and has been protecting fucking criminals, cops and otherwise, who has been targeting this very high command from day fucking 1. Number 2, Peters should be fucking ashamed of himself. He knows how fucking hard she works. He's got his own issues. Where's his roadmap? Number 3, Trig has been great. But that's a lot to fucking say for someone who was not around for 5 fucking weeks. While she carried this entire department for weeks on her back. And he's back now with a fucking tumor, playing hide and go seek Well, the entire department's fallen over. I saw it firsthand on Saturday when shit was popping off. It should not have had to wait until you and Peters heard about it. He was present.
Oh, good here, buddy. How about yourself?
As for Ruby, I have very little negative things to say.
Ruby isn't
About
involved in this conversation. Ruby was on in that conversation.
I'm going to expand, though. As for the Ruby situations with her and Maxwell not seeing eye to eye, those problems need to be resolved. Brought into a room and asked, how do we fix this? Because you two need to work together. This is, that is very unfortunate.
So what I do think about Maxwell, and I think this goes to our other conversation about me speaking to her about delegating, about making sure that I'm supporting her, that then she's supporting the sergeants, and the sergeants are kind of, you know, so on and so forth. I think I need to, without, because they are right. I'm not saying it's a no, but I don't like the idea of false hope, you know? I think I give her feedback and give her expectations and where, you know, help her grow without dangling something in front of her. I don't want to be like, if you do this, this, and this, you might get a high command position. I just want to say, I think these are areas that, you know, can help overall, help you lead your shift, help lead the LSPD, and help her grow that way. And then if she grows into that position, that makes sense.
Here's the thing, though, Moss. It's she doesn't even need to know that it's for high command, right?
That's literally what I'm saying. I'm saying,
yeah,
not telling her it's for high command, just telling her for its like personal growth.
Do you think any of the other members of high command have the ability to provide roadmaps for those under them? Because I'm starting to think they don't. And I'm starting to wonder if that's why there's been a pattern behavior of not having roadmaps to grow throughout the department, right? Because it has to start from the top. Here's how you do it and pass it down.
I think when Eric is locked in, yes, absolutely. Doesn't sound like he's been locked in though. Eric is, I think, could be like the roadmap king, honestly. We talk about that a lot, about ways to, you know, help officers grow, things that we need to do. I think Peters, I think he's great for brainstorming and figuring out where there are issues, but I think I think he's just a little bit too AC/DC to sit down and say, let me help you, we're gonna figure this out, ABC, you know, and go through it. I think Sky could also create roadmaps.
The reason why I'm so harsh with a shift 3 opinion, you replace her with whoever, with whoever else is shift 3. It's, I hope there's recognition that that shift has not grown at all. They have no track record.
It hasn't really grown.
So where did their opinion even bring value? You get what I'm saying? There's no track record there. They don't know Maxwell. She doesn't know. I don't even think it's fair for Peters or Trigg to have much of an opinion when they've been absent. They didn't.
But I also think that Peters and Trigg do get the most face time. Like, yes, they were absent for that month, but
they've been back for, like, at best 2 weeks.
No, they've been back for over a month, both of them. Yeah, they both came back. They both came back in December. They have been back for at least a month, if not more. They see Maxwell every day.
No,
Except for that week that Maxwell was out.
That's how are you? I want to challenge you on this. Why? What makes you think that?
That they've been back for a month? Because they were both back before Christmas. I know Trig was back before Christmas.
They may have, so it may have been because they were back for a day and then they just dipped again for a week and a half and then came back in January.
No, Trig was gone for about 3 days. He was gone for about 3 days over Christmas and then he was back. Peter's schedule varies, you know. He'll sometimes be here for 7 days straight and then he'll take 3 days off. It's a little bit harder to track.
Anna, long time no speak, girl.
Trig's schedule is very consistent though.
Okay.
No plans? You want to hang out?
Yeah.
I warn you.
But I do agree with you after this conversation. Eric needs to take a much more hands-on approach with command in shift 1.
Yeah. I think the hope was that Trig and Peters would play a bit of a symbiotic role, right? Peters being that Papa Bear and Trig being the analytical type.
Yeah. But I don't
think it's fair to say that Trig was back when he was talking as a robot and now has a tumor. I'm not trying to beat down on the guy, but I'm trying to provide some perspective that
I know
Max
what you're
observing
saying.
over Maxwell was there's going to be a natural disconnect.
There was like 2 weeks where yes, you were right. You were right.
And I also want to say I by no means am demanding Maxwell be high command, but rather there needs to be a way for her to succeed in spreading out her load so that she has the bandwidth. And I do agree that there's probably a delegation issue, but that's where, like, you know, Trig and Peters need to be coming in and helping
and
push in that direction.
Even though, you know, Peters never listens to me, I have been telling him that, and I told you this too, I don't want high-ranking members of command to be doing investigations.
I'm sorry.
They can be overseeing them, but they can't be doing them. And I know Peters has been wrapped up in some investigations, and I need him to delegate those out and not. And he did mention that. He said, "I'm gonna delegate this," and I said, "Okay, you better."
I see they finally let you out of the joint. All right.
Yeah, he's
You
he's
know, Eric accepted the assistant chief position, but it was right after he told me he got a tumor. So I said we'll talk about it later. I was a little bit beaten up about it.
Okay. He got a tumor after he heard that. Wait, sorry, you're gonna have to run it back.
I don't know when he got the tumor. I think he had the tumor for a while. It was like when, you know how he had all the speech issues? Apparently that's from the tumor. The tumor was...
Gotcha. Okay.
He found out he had a tumor, like, this last week, I guess. Because he finally went to the doctor about it.
Okay, so... okay, I'm gonna ask something. You know him better than I do. Is this tumor gonna be an issue?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
I don't know. He said that there's a surgery he could do. He said it's benign. He's on medication. There's a surgery that he could do that they could remove it, but it could cause issues. He doesn't know whether or not.
It sounds like you need another ass chief now. If I'm going to be transparent, right? Because I don't know what that means.
I mean, I told him to not take the position. I said I don't want to put any more stress on you.
Yeah.
You know, stay in a captain role.
Okay, I hope this isn't about the apartment.
Because like it's like I like
I told you I don't
when
wanna
shit's
talk about
popping
it.
off, I'm going to a guy that's like
What did I say? What did I say? I wanted
temporarily. I'm not gonna say it.
Extremely lewd translator. Extremely horny translator.
Yeah, right. You get my position, right? Like there's some
I will
serious shit
say
going
I
down.
have had serious conversations when he has had the translator. And like very serious conversations, and he has a few different versions of his translator, and he puts on the other less horny version of his translator
Right.
for the serious conversations.
I don't know what that means, but I haven't seen him functional this month. Except for one day where he was. So, you know, I got to take what I see or what I'm getting. God fucking damn it. What do you mean horny translator?
It says some wild stuff.
I didn't even fucking process that for a second. I don't think I've seen that yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something. Is High Command having too much fun at the expense of the department ripping minus yourself right now?
I'm gonna say, when do I have fun, Nino?
I said minus you, yeah.
No, I think Peters takes it pretty seriously. I think Trig is having some fun right now, which I don't blame him for. But he does
why?
need to. Well, I think he should have fun, but I also think when he needs to lock it in, he needs to lock it in.
I mean, he's
and
accepted a command position.
Yeah, and I need to just that's why I need to go speak with him and make sure that he needs to get shit under control in shift 1.
Yeah, because I just don't want it to turn into
and no,
like
I don't think Sky is having any fun. So.
Okay. I just I worry, right? Obviously, we need to work together to make things move forward. Timetable, whatever that looks like. Not timetable, but set up the objectives. These are the things that objectively are going to be worked on, whether it's the training module shit, whether it's expanding PNT, right? I think the other stuff you've already discussed, right, with other authorities, consultants, let's call them, for making sure people aren't wilding out. But there is a part of me that fears that the fuckery, I'm afraid of it turning into like a there's expectations for improvement, and the fuckery turns everything upside its head, right? Like
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, I am responsible for y'all, and the public is pissed, and I'm sure those conversations this past week is probably, you know, probably pretty related in some regards. You know what I mean?
Well, those conversations that we had were before all of that shit happened on Saturday, so
Yeah.
that was a little tough. But you know,
did they?
Well, I will actually say we had a conversation Saturday morning, and all of that shit happened Saturday, and
But then why was it kind of seemingly brushed aside?
What do you mean brushed aside?
Okay, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just the you know, letting me know. Do they know that they should be? Does your high command know I need to interface with people? Just curious. I don't know. Like, I know you and Peters do.
Yes.
Okay.
It's literally
Okay.
your job.
All right. All right. Oh shit. All right. Let's we should pick a day this week, I think, to
Hello?
have a meeting of some sort.
Can't wait for our waxing session.
There's going to be a city hall this Friday or Saturday.
Okay.
And I think having some things kind of figured out prior to there would be good.
Yeah. I mean, I can meet any day really.
Yeah.
Just, you know, whatever day works.
right.
Tomorrow or Wednesday.
Okay. I think I'll let you know tomorrow. I'll send you a I got to talk to my cabinet. But yeah, and I will say that the public hearings is probably going to move forward. I had very good feedback from all the marshals and various people around the city, many of whom said that public hearings would very much thwart a lot of their concerns when it comes to egregious cases of public safety. So I will say that I will balance it with a possible alternative, which is it may turn into something like there either A, needs to be a public facing statement, or B, a hearing, a combination of both. And otherwise it will probably get tied with a pretty significant fine. And this is to avoid things like ACRs, and the intent of this is...
Wait, say it again? The public hearings will result in a fine?
A fine if someone skips, right? Because that was discussed,
I see.
right? So this is going to be in lieu of having to go through ACRs and impeachments that can take fucking forever and drain people, right? But rather this is, hey, if you're doing things in good faith, you should have zero problem being honest about it. And in turn, if it is egregious enough that it would be upgraded to an ACR, it at least looks good too, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It like forces the honesty. And I think for most people, suspensions, firings, let's be honest, people don't give a fuck after a couple weeks. They just want to know what the fuck happened and is it going to change. And I think that's the intent of the hearing. And it will be applicable to everybody, not just the LSPD. Anyone that's in Los Santos County operating in a law enforcement capacity. All right. Okay. Well, why was your first words, I guess I gotta leave? Like, you need a new chief.
Because you said you need somebody around a lot more than me, and then we spoke about needing somebody around in shift 1, and I can't be around in shift 1.
Oh, I just meant high command.
Such a pain in the ass.
You're
a pain in the ass.
I got rid of the justices and the marshals for you, Moss.
You got rid of them for yourself.
Oh, sure I did. Oh, right. Oh no, the marshals, they're doing this in the ACR.
With your 40 marshals reports.
Yeah, well, where was your impeachment filings that you're going to do? And
no, I never got them. I tried to audit my shit and they said no.
Yeah, and I gave the LSPD more power by rolling back all their power.
Yes, you did do that.
Yeah.
You know it.
Does feel better.
Yeah.
Not having the marshals breathing down our necks.
That's right.
Actually, like, working with the marshals is nice. Not working against the marshals, you know.
That is a subject I spoke to them about. I let them know that in the event, you know, there's a whole Barrett and Peters situation that happened.
I do think that Peters is very much still against the marshals. He doesn't trust them. He doesn't want to work with them. I understand why.
He has a problem resetting.
And I think maybe it would be of value for us to have a meeting with whoever's running the marshals now, so that way Peters can ask the questions he needs to and maybe start to feel a different kind of way about it. But he is very, very against the marshals still.
Yeah. Like I said, he has a problem resetting. I don't know why. Because he likes dark. And he
does. He
don't
does like
know
dark.
if he knows the Shira. So his problem is, and the marshals are 90% gone.
I think he, you know, it was bad. Like, you know, it was bad. Like the marshals before. And
oh, really?
It was a very, I'm saying, you know. And it was just, it was a very dark time. And I don't blame him for being afraid that is going to happen again.
Well,
That we're going to have to go through that bullshit again.
that's why I'm here. And they can't do that again. You saw the way that the justice spoke to us a week and a half ago.
I know, it was night and day.
Yeah.
Is that really a week and a half ago?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so long ago.
Yeah. But I did let the marshals know if something like that were to happen again to let me and you know. Because they are very much operating. I have never been more happy. I have not seen a marshal's department like that since Pred was originally in place. I don't know if you remember what that was like, but they actually give a fuck to do like their role and to fill it well. And LSP, like that shit's gotta, you know, that's gotta stop. Otherwise that's a bridge that's not worth burning, especially when they're so willing to work with us.
I think they're great. Like I said, it's very nice working with them.
Yeah.
And I do agree. I think we need to try to foster that. And I think I do think it would be probably helpful for Peters if he goes and has a conversation and can kind of air out his grievances. So that way, because I already did that, you know, I already spoke to Weiss. So I don't really feel any kind of way about it anymore, right?
Yeah.
But I think that would be cathartic for Peters.
What if we dress someone up like a marshal and have them apologize to Peters and then run off? And that person says, you know what? Fuck this. I quit the marshals. Do you think he just wasn't around for the finale and like that story arc hasn't ended for him?
I think he just needs to speak with Weiss. I think he's just very distrusting of the marshals. And again, for good reason. They did a lot of fucked shit.
Moss. It's not good reason. Those are even the same people anymore.
No, but I'm just I understand.
It's irrational.
Like, well, you know, he's my irrational, so my irrational assistant chief.
I don't think we've gotten hit by the had to deal with the marshals in like at least 2 months.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. We'll okay, we'll be in touch. All right.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, you too.